わさびアニメすごいですね。
Hello and welcome. I am your host, B Zelda, bringing at you another episode of Tabletop Otaku. My pronouns are they, them, and today's a little bit of a special episode. Instead of a incredibly talented, beautiful designer, we have a incredibly wonderful, slightly terrifying, yet incredibly intelligent human being. TJ, tell me a little bit about you. What brings you here?
Well, it's good to be here. I currently host the Virtual Reality Check channel, or the Virtual Reality Check segment for Wasabi Anime on Friday nights. So people know me as the VR guy, which is cool. I'll take it. So I do a lot of virtual reality. I've built a virtual reality suite in my house. So I'm really big on that. And then on the convention side, I also do work as a game master and sometimes lead game master for a lot of different conventions. So it's the Gen Con, Dragon Con, Prior Gnome Con, Rapier Con, Wasabi Con is probably one of my big ones. So yeah, it's just the
Oh,
side hobby. If
great.
you're gonna have a good hobby, have this one. So it's good
Yes.
stuff.
Yes, because we get to travel, we get to meet so many cool people, we get to play so many fabulous games. So, like, do you ever get to spend time at home if you are attending that many conventions in a year? Omitting this great panini, we're gonna pretend like that hasn't happened.
Oh. Well, I think I prioritize what's important to myself. So of course, my daughter, my wife, my house, I love being at home. But then like I have like my convention family that I only see during conventions.
Yeah.
And it's great because that's my loyal friend. Like they're I've known some of my convention friends for 10, going on more than 10 years. And it's great. Like every time you see them once or twice a year, we're like, hey, how you been? And it's like you just saw each other last week.
That is very
Awesome.
real, and I'm so hecking excited for September. Origins Game Fair is going to have their convention, and I want to be around people again. Like I don't care how many masks I have to wear on my face. I will wear masks over my eyes. I just want to be around human beings. I want to say, "You look so cool. Why haven't I seen you?" You know? That's the vibe that I
Exactly.
cannot wait
So
for.
we just had our first convention post COVID ish.
Oh,
It was the WasabiCon Geek Marketplace, which was a
how did
one
that
day
go?
down in it was down at World Golf Village down in St. Augustine.
Okay.
And we had planned for X amount of numbers. We ended up doubling it, and that just shows that people are really looking forward to getting back to the conventions. They miss it, and I do too. I think everyone that is a typical convention person, they miss it, which is that's right. I mean, we all do.
What is the one thing that you miss the most currently about conventions? I know you said like so you got to attend WasabiCons or WasabiCon?
So I used to be able to go to conventions. Like I've been to Origins, which is an awesome show. I used to go as just a normal guy, a regular
Yeah.
guy. But then when I started doing Game Master, so then I started working for the cons. Then I got so good at it and proficient at it that I ended up being lead Game Master. So
Oh wow.
like now I just plan and organize the GMs. So now my goal, the fun I
Oh.
get out of it is putting on a good show. I love that people are having a good time. That's what I'm in it for.
Oh, I love that. When you said lead GM, I genuinely thought that you were just like the best of all the GMs, not that you organized
Oh
GMs.
no! So you're organizing it because like to have a really good show, you want to get the best talent. Like you hunt the GMs that are really good at this game and that game, and you invite them in and say, hey, come and run this game for the convention, and it builds that network so everyone knows, hey, so the best Call of Cthulhu or Pathfinder GM that runs it once a week over at that game store. We want him at our convention. He's just a normal dude, but the the GM, like kind of my role is just to organize all of the GMs and the sponsors and stuff, and I recruit the best talent, like the gaming community. Excuse me, the gaming community, like in this part of the country, down North Florida, South Georgia,
Mhm.
it's we all know each other and we all know who's really good at what.
I was wondering,
So
like, how do you find these people? Do you just walk into like your local friendly gaming store and like, you look at the people and then you point at the most like impressive human being. You there, I'm going to bring you upon my team. Like, what is your strategy?
the best way is go to a convention. and you will see, like you will see the guys. And so like that's really any convention. And then if you go to one or two conventions, you'll consistently see the same GM that is hosting a game or running a game, and he's just doing it for the joy of doing it.
Yeah.
That's the guy you want. That's the guy you want to be one of your GMs.
That is so lovely. Are there any games, like I know now you don't get to participate as a visitor for conventions, but are there ever any games that you have to try and play when you're there, or like any like group that you want to play with your friends when you see everyone again?
So yeah, so there are games that a lot of the big game companies are coming out with some like really great games, especially in the past year. They had time to focus on, like in the COVID world, they had time to focus on like Dune Imperium. I'd love to try that out.
I am playing it right now. Oh my God.
I want to play it so bad. Fantasy Flight is
so
coming out
fun.
with one that mimics Diablo. It's called The Descent. It looks really good. Fantasy Flight is really good at their character models, so that's coming out. Because I'm active military on deployment last year. I was gone. Fantasy Flight came out with the Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle Earth, which is a co-op game where you play against the app. So this whole thing with having you and like a couple buddies, you're on a co-op team against the computer, and it's randomly generated. And we did that overseas. That carried us our entire deployment. And they're coming out with an expansion, I think later this year. And I would love to get back into it. I might have to do that, not at a convention, like in my neighborhood at my house.
Yes. If you are that invested, absolutely. Oh, that is really great. You need to play Dune Imperium. If you love the series, like love the books, if you watch that wonky movie and like they're coming out with the new movie, being able to revisit it.
Yes, they are. Yes, yes, they are. I can't wait to see it. I will go to a theater. I will risk COVID to go see that movie. Like I love.
Hopefully your theaters are handling, like we've got theaters open over here, and it's like you can't have any more than like 20 people in the entire thing. It's wild, but I'll do it to watch Dune, you know?
Yes, I will.
Give me an entire row to myself.
Give me a new Dune video game. I haven't seen a good Dune video game since what, like Dune 2000, which was old Command and Conquer engine, which was great, but come on.
Interesting.
Like,
I didn't even know there was a game. Was it okay?
It was in 2000.
Okay.
Like, yeah. like then.
Oh my goodness. I mean, who knows? If this movie is a success, it might, remind the people that like, hey, there is money in this franchise, there is money in this. We will pay you. I've already bought Dune on Roll20. I have bought Dune the PDF. Like, I need more of it. And like, you get to create your own house, and that is so much. We spent like 3 hours making our own house. I know. I'm gonna stop because it's just gonna. You need to play this.
It's killing me.
Oh my goodness. Well, so for conventions then, are there any conventions that you're looking forward to this year? Because like con season's technically just starting.
It is. So I know Origins is coming up here end of September, early October, which is awesome. I've been to Origins, and one thing I remember the last time I went to Origins was one of the companies, they brought like some battle pods. They looked like literally pods. They had like 5 or 6 of them set up, and you could demo it, and it was awesome.
Oh my gosh.
I had a really good time last time I went to Origins. So I wish I could go to Origins this year, but my military obligations it kind of prevent me from going this year. But I'm definitely looking forward to WasabiCon, which is middle of October, just because it's it's been the first time, post-COVID, the first convention. And then once that is good, then this year we kind of test the waters. Next year, I'm going to go full steam. I'm going to go back to, probably going to do Dragon Con, Gen Con, Origins, and then Wasabi. I'm hoping. So next year, I'm hoping. That's what I want to do.
Oh, that's so exciting. Do you dress up at all to go to conventions?
Oh, okay. So come to find out, like I love cosplay, but I like just building things. As you can see, I'm all out.
I'm sorry, did you build that?
Yeah, I built that.
What?
Yeah, so I used to just get, find people that be willing to wear my costumes and just build it for them, just because I love building stuff. I built like, I see like some of the pictures going through, and I've seen some really good cosplay at conventions, but I used to just build cosplay and find a person like, hey, you're hey, you come here. I think I could fit my costume to you,
Damn.
and just build the costume for them and just enter it. And then if they won the competition, I'd just be like, yeah, that's awesome. I played a part in that. Yeah, I know, right? I actually had a costume piece that went on the show Heroes of Cosplay. It was an old show on Sci-Fi.
Yep.
I built a part of Star Wars and Star Trek props.
Oh my god.
And so see like that, I think that picture right there. So I got invited to work on an indie Star Wars YouTube film, and I built like aliens for the set, and that was like a Jedi mixed with a Borg headpiece that I built.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I just like being a part of that stuff. Like I just love it. But come to find out, though, yeah, see there it is. Like cool. That's me like on set with my friend Elizabeth, and I had built a headset and a costume for her.
Oh my word.
So
That's fabulous.
I love it. It's awesome. It's just been a fun, and that's just something that I just got into. I didn't plan on it. It just kind of happened, which is awesome.
Goodness, because deadass, I look behind you and I'm like, that's really cool. So like, what is that? $800, $1,200? Oh my word, you built that with your own sweat and hands.
Oh yeah. Well, 3D printing is awesome. And then just occasionally it's like a project. It took me like 7 months to build it. So I just occasionally like hey, I got a free weekend. Let me get some VR foam, kind of work with a printer and then build the legs, or next weekend build the arms. And so it's just a good hobby. It's good.
That is impressive. Well, if you ever want to like step into any of the stuff that you've made, my area of expertise comes from makeup. I spend all my free time watching Drag Race, makeup artists like shows. So like, I'm working on special effects. So like, yeah, I feel like with our powers combined.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Fearsome
Some of
duo.
these makeup artists that went on that Star Wars indie movie I worked on, amazing. Yeah. They were very impressive. Very impressive.
Takes a lot.
There's definitely a talent there.
Yes. Oh, that is so wonderful. I'm incredibly excited to go back to conventions again this year. Having to take 2 years off, like 2018, that was my first year. I think I went to 5 cons. And prior to that, I would only maybe do one as a guest or as a visitor. And then being able to, like you said, being able to go to conventions as like an employee almost, like you're overseeing certain things. I need that. My heart, my soul, I really, really need that. I need to see people. I need to see the joy on people's faces as we're gathering again together. And like, I cannot wait.
There was a moment at the recent one that I mentioned, and it just to see like people were there, they were checking out vendor stalls, and this con was only 2 rooms at the St. Johns County at the St. Johns County Convention Center.
Okay.
2 rooms, very small, one day, and it was just, man, there was so much activity and everyone was having a good time, and the vendors did well with like some of the goods that they were bringing, and it was great. I miss that. See, like I see now, like this is a video that was taken, I think WasabiCon 2019, I believe it was. And like that was the beginning after we had opened the doors for like maybe 15-20 minutes, and the room just filled up. I miss that. I can't wait to see that this year at WasabiCon again. I miss it, and I hope Origins is just like that, because no matter where you're at, like if it looks like that, if people are having a good time, then it's a win. It's a win.
That is the good con vibe. All right, so I have 2 really silly questions because I feel like everybody's kind of had these experiences with conventions. What is the worst but necessary item that you have bought before at a con?
Oh man. Okay, so worst but necessary.
You don't need it, but you had to buy it.
Okay.
Like we're seeing swords up here.
So
have you bought a sword?
I got it. So so I'm looking at it. You will find vendors that come in with stuff where you'll be like, okay, I need this in my life. I don't know where that came from, but I really need this. I bought a full headdress pre-modeled Predator headset.
What?
It looked so cool. I was like, I need this in my life. And like, it was awesome.
That's outrageous.
And I think the other one was that I saw it, like I'm a classic pop culture type guy, like I like classic animes like Akira and Vampire Hunter D. Like I like that stuff. I saw, and I'm a classic Power Rangers guy just because I grew up on it.
Yep.
And I walking by a picture and I saw Tommy the Green Ranger in like
Yeah.
his holding his morph thing. But then I walked by the picture and it was like a 3D image that had him in a morph thing. And I'm like, okay, I really need this thing right now. Like,
Oh my gosh, no, you don't, but I understand that absolute necessity. You see it and your heart is like, well, that's mine now. Where did you put up that picture of Tommy, if I may ask? Is it in your bathroom? Like
so
behind your door?
I'm building a man cave in my new house that I just moved in
Nice.
back in November. So like I'm in my gaming loft right now, which is where I do my VR, but down my hallway, I'm building like from the ground up pretty much. I'm gonna put like an old like Nuke Cola fridge from Fallout with like I'm gonna
Yes.
put it in there with like pool table, dual 65-inch TVs with my PS5. Like I'm gonna map this bad boy out. They're gonna have to cancel the shuttle launch when I'm gaming.
I
Like
love that.
that's the level. So that's where it is, and it's ready to go.
Oh, that's fantastic. I really enjoy that. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to think. I'm a little bit more discreet when it comes to purchasing items at cons, but I did once leave out of a con in Toronto with like a full-size replica of the Master Sword, and then I walked around downtown with that sword, hoping against hope that I wasn't going to be stopped. I got stopped because turns out you're not allowed to walk downtown with a giant-ass sword on your back. But
Peasants.
they were understanding about it. They're just like, please don't take it out of the sheath and hit trees. We're afraid you're gonna hit people. Like, but I'm like, I have this new sword. I have to use it.
Oh,
They didn't
there
agree.
are some pieces where like I've built lightsabers. I've built 3 or 4 different lightsabers on the Star Wars, and they're like, all right, you go put it in a con and use it. And I'm like, use it? No. Like it's almost like, why did I build it? Well, to look at it, it looks good. I need this. Okay.
Oh, I love that. We do have a quick question for you in chat. So, have you been playing Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid then?
All right. I can appreciate Heroes of the Grid.
Uh-huh.
However, there was a PlayStation title that was I think it was like a side scroller Power Rangers game
Okay.
that they pulled the Sony or someone lost the licensing
Oh my
for
gosh.
it
Yep.
and you couldn't get it anymore. So the Power Rangers, that Grid game is like a Mortal Kombat Fighters game. And
Ooh.
I want it more in like the old like side scroller action with the Power Rangers. That's because I can play with my daughter. Like, because my daughter
Okay.
likes Power Rangers, and I'm like, yeah, bringing her up. Yeah, that's my girl.
Raising her right. Oh, I really love that. Have you ever played any RPGs for Power Rangers? I know Renegade recently kickstarted a Power Rangers game. I'm not a Power Rangers fan, so I'm not super keyed into that. But there's
There's
a
a
lot of
Power
content.
Rangers RPG.
Yes, my dude.
What?
Oh my word.
What?
Okay,
Wait,
let me get this on. Hold on.
wait, what? Okay, is this on a console or is this a board game? Where is this?
Hold on. It's a Renegade Game Studios because I worked with them for a short while, and like all of their content is Power Rangers. Okay, so they have a deck builder, which is meh. Okay, so Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid Fan Appreciation Kit. I don't know what that means. Card storage box. We don't care. There's so much Power Rangers content, yo.
I've got to pull this up. I've got to search right now. Power Rangers.
I am so happy to introduce this world to you. Oh my gosh.
Okay. Hyper RPG on Twitch, audio format podcast, Power Rangers Hyper Force tabletop role playing game. Okay, tabletop. Okay.
Yeah, I tossed a link in chat as well. So Renegade Games, like they own the IP to Power Rangers in terms of board games now. Maybe it's a card game. I'm not up to date. I'm gonna rely on your knowledge and understanding of Power Rangers to fully understand this. And like, let me see what they're kickstarting as well, because like they make good content.
It is streamed live by Hyper RPG on Twitch. Okay, so
Hyper is great.
is it? Yeah, man.
They're
So I would see
fantastic
that at
group.
con. So now I got to look for it at a con. So now,
Yes.
so what'll end up happening is as we get closer to WasabiCon in mid-October, like I'll end up putting together all of the game masters and kind of setting up the tables and organizing sponsors. I'll have to do a lookout for this one and see if there's the right talent, the right guy for the job to see if this guy, yeah, man, that looks all right.
Like there's so many minis, like those are super cute. I love the idea of minis. That's a hobby and a passion that I have to put to the side because I will lose myself in it.
No, okay. So I think that painting minis, I think like puts flair and immersion into a game. So for the game I mentioned earlier, which is awesome by the way, it's Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle Earth. I painted all of my minis
Oh
on
damn.
deployment. So it's
Oh,
like, all right, it's time to go to bed. I'm like in my bunk at night with a flashlight painting minis. And I'm like, this is stress release for me. In fact, there's a really good guy, Anthony Rodriguez, who's coming to Origins.
ooh.
Yeah, he's going to Origins, and he went all the way. Like I met him. He went all the way. He went on like a sabbatical to Europe, I think,
Okay.
to just kind of learn the trade, and he'll be at Origins, which is awesome. I've met him.
Oh my word.
Yeah, and that's awesome. Yeah, and there are people that get really, really precise with the painting. Like I've
It's
been to like some of the game
impressive.
stores local, and I would just be like toothpick, and that's good enough. Oh, it's smeared on the red. That's good.
It's
But some
fine.
people get like these miniature brushes that is really impressive. It is awesome.
Now that it's a talent, and I have nothing but admiration for folks who can do it, and folks who like. I recently learned because I'm the community manager for Dungeons and Dragons Adventures League, but I don't actually I don't know anything about Adventures League. I don't play a lot of D&D, and if I do, it's not the mechanical side. It's all about role playing. And then I'm discovering there's a whole other world where people who play D&D, they just paint minis. And there's a market, like they will just collect them and collect them and collect them. And the next thing you know, you have an entire room where your walls are all shelves. You just have these tiny figurines staring down at you. It's scary, but I have nothing but like it's so impressive.
I met so one of the guys that I was gonna recruit for a GM. I actually we became friends, and he's like, "Hey man, I got I think he was getting rid of a couch or something like that." And he said, "You want to come pick it up?" I said, "Yeah, sure." I went there. He said, "Oh, you've never seen my game room." I went upstairs. He had an entire like Dungeons and Dragons like room in his wall to wall with
Yes,
miniatures, and I'm like,
yes.
"Oh my god, this is amazing!"
And you
Awesome.
know that represents hours and hours of time and dedication.
Could
All
be
right.
time wasted on something else. I think it's fine.
Right
I think it's
though,
fine.
I spend all my free time telling stories with my face. Like
Yeah, no, I've had some, yeah, no, D&D, like, trust me, I got it. I'm there. It's a good way to spend your time.
it is. It's not bad. All right. So I want to shift to some of the conversation that, like, I know a lot of folks are thinking about when it comes to conventions. And if you're kind of got your hand in a little bit of the organizing, at least with the GMs, how do you feel conventions are going to go about staying safe? Like sitting at a table with strangers, everybody being masked up. Like, do you anticipate any antagonizing? Like, how do you feel this is going to go down?
Yeah, so I feel like that is a thing because, like, you got like the CDC recommendations, right? And then
Yep.
you got like the con organizers that they want to have a good con. They just want to put on a good show, but they
Exactly.
want people to be safe, and I get it. So I would feel like a good middle way would be like, hey, uh, we suggest masks, better safe than sorry.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't want to, we're not going to force you. So that gives you the thing where you're like, okay, well, did I vaccinate or not? Okay, so if I didn't vaccinate, I'm going to be around a lot of people. I should probably do it not just for me, but other people. Now, if I did vaccinate, do I want to take the risk? I don't know, but I don't feel
Mm-hmm.
like a con would come out on the top end by saying you should do this. They can make recommendations
Okay.
to give people the freedom to do it. I honestly don't know. Like it's difficult to put like a one rule across all conventions because all conventions are different.
Right? And I'm learning this. So I'm a little out of water when it comes to like American conventions. I'm over here in Canada and things have been a little bit different. It just the rules have been a little bit more strict. Like there's not as much choice along the way. So I recently found out that Gen Con has masks. It started off as masks were mandatory, and now it's up to the person. And that scares me. But again, I'm used to existing in a space where the mask mandate was everywhere. So now that folks have the option, like I'm gonna be the weirdo who's like trying to avoid people dodging them left and right because just I'm a little afraid, but I want to, like, I'm double vaxxed. I want to go out into the world. So I'm going to be the one who's like slightly stressed out and constantly sweaty because I don't know how to handle this situation.
But I saw multiple people that con I mentioned. I saw multiple people. Like it was a mix of both groups. Some people in masks, some people not. And a person masked could be vaccinated.
Yes.
They might not be. I don't know, but it's a kind of a better safe than sorry. So I didn't feel like that caused too much of an issue. Or just wear cosplay. There. Now you're good.
I am trying to plan an outfit where I can just naturally be masked. I originally wanted to go as Aizawa from My Hero Academia, and he has kind of this scarf thing, so I'm thinking of trying to find a way if I can get a gray mask, wear that under the scarf, and then have the scarf over top. Like that way, that checks all angles for me, but I'm gonna get hot, I'm gonna be sweaty, and I know that's just the fact of wearing cosplay, but also I don't want it for myself, so I've got a handful of things to navigate, and I know a lot of other people have similar questions and like similar comments about how they want to handle this.
Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, that's one way to go about it. You know, like if I wear a costume that protects my face, it's good. Now I'm in cosplay, but then it gets hot and sweaty. It's like, oh, well, I would have gotten that in a mask anyway.
Right.
There's always that thing where really dedicated cosplayers are willing to put their body through pain to look good in a costume. And I'm like, yes, it's like Rick and Morty. This guy gets it. Yeah, this guy. Yes, that's it.
Oh gosh, I am reassured to hear that the Columbus Convention Center, where Origins Game Fair will take place, they have masks are still mandatory, which I appreciate. And like, again, I've lived in I don't want to call it a privileged space, but like I've watched online videos of folks like freaking out that they don't want to wear masks or they're uncomfortable in certain situations. So I'm trying to like manage those fears myself because I'm going to a different country. I'm still waiting for the borders to open up. Come on, borders, open up. And then when that happens, like what, like, am I gonna be okay? Is everybody else gonna be okay? Like I'm projecting a lot of my fears right now, and these have been kind of inside me for a long time.
I don't know. Like it feel like it's yours. You're the risk to take. It's like it's your risk to take.
100%.
You know, I don't know. And I remember the last time I went to Origins, like and I went as a GM.
Okay.
And I was working for Mayfield Games, Mayfair, the Catan guys.
Yeah.
But I was working for them, which everyone knows Catan is awesome.
There we go.
And I remember where they put us at was like down the street.
Okay.
And so we had to walk to the convention, and I remember like thinking, man, if I was in that, I would be sweating bullets by the time I got here right now.
Mm-hmm. You know, you start sloshing around because there's so much sweat everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Oh gosh, and that's another thing you really have to consider. And like I know because like September things are going to be a little bit cooler, and that's bittersweet. Part of like convention season that I loved was like it is hot as heck outside, and I love that aspect. You step outside, it's like, oh, it's bright, it hurts my eyes, I'm going to start sweating. Versus inside the convention where it's air conditioned and there's just like body to body. We're going in September now, you know, September, October, things are going to be cooler. It almost seems more appropriate.
Doesn't it get? I can't remember what the weather was like at Origins when I went. Does it get a little cold in Ohio? Like
you are
about
a southern
I don't know.
child, so I feel like anything up north is cold for you. You know, it's 24 Celsius. It's like 75, and like, is that cold? Because that's nice and warm for me.
Well, down in WasabiCon world, down in Florida, we have 2 seasons, February and summer, and that's all we have.
February. The only time it gets cold, February.
Oh yeah, for like a week.
Oh my gosh. Oh, we live in very different climates, my friend. Very different. And on the topic of differences, we had a really good chat slightly earlier on, and when we were kind of going through some of the photos at conventions, we came across a game that you seem incredibly passionate about, and it just, to me, that game embodies what I want to see at a convention, but when I look at it, I am terrified.
Okay, so Twilight Imperium, if you were to take like the games, for anyone that plays games on computer, console, the 4X, it's like explore, exterminate, extort, expand, something, 4X.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that. And then you put it on a game, like that's what TI is. Like Twilight Imperium, it's pretty much the cornerstone Fantasy Flight, the flagship Fantasy Flight game.
damn.
And I loved Fantasy Flight so much because or Fantasy Flight, but Twilight Imperium, because you can win that game without being all combat. You can win it, but just by politics. And I love that game so much that that picture there is what I did is I created a 3D version of all the planet models. And when I put it on social media, Fantasy Flight saw it and they're like, hey, that looks pretty cool.
Oh my God.
I was inspired by a guy out in California that made one, but he's a wood carver by trade, and he built a table that had all of the planet models and systems hand carved into this table. So Fantasy Flight reached out to him and was like, hey, bring it to Gen Con. And he's like, well, I'd have to saw it in half and haul it across the country. I was able to like package mine up in a box. And so they invited me out. So I went up to Gen Con, and that's what you see there. I think I'd gone to Gnome Con as well.
Oh my gosh.
And so I loved my Fantasy Flight set. I still have it, but Twilight Imperium 4th edition came out, and one of the GMs that I work for, a guy down in Jacksonville, Florida, he has taken kind of lead on the Twilight Imperium scene down there, and he kind of runs all the games. And he didn't do 3D models or anything, but he really organized everything with additional plates and everything. And so I kind of passed the torch to him, while I just kind of like lead game master, you know, kind of plan the GMs. I definitely will use him for Wasabi, definitely, because he is it. But yeah, TI Twilight Imperium is my it. And then I remember like at one point, WasabiCon specifically, we had gone with kind of like an anime focus, which was great. And so there was a year that we said, all right, this year we really need to beef up the game room. So what we did was we brought back TI. We were gaming till 3 a.m.
Yes.
We brought in like a non-alcoholic bar and ordered pizza for the room. Like, it was awesome. And so TI, you will always see TI at like some sort of like game room for the conventions. It's awesome.
I'm going to look for it now. And like, okay, if I were to sit down at that table, could I learn it? The little bit that you just figured out about me in the past 30 minutes, could I learn this game?
Yeah, I will say this about all Fantasy Flight games. Once you do one round, you got it. You got it. Okay. So I advise it. You just gotta, I'm telling you, like, and I would say about half the TI games I sat down on, we had a new player that at a con that didn't know how to play.
Yeah.
Sat them down, they saw one round and they were like, all right, I got it. And they would end up winning the game against veterans.
They're playing with the strategy that doesn't make any sense, and y'all are trying to figure it out. It's just like, what are you? Oh, and then you win. Okay. Yeah. I love that.
Happens.
So this is a game you ran multiple times at cons, like when you were GMing?
Yeah, when I was like just strictly GMing, I ran it multiple times, and that's all I would do because I love it. And I would play back-to-back games. So I would turtle it out at 8 hours, where like I would design the game to where after 8 hours you're gonna have a winner, and then I would take like an hour break and then go right into another 8-hour game.
I'm sorry. This is an 8-hour game?
I mean, it can. I've seen them go 4 to 6, but yeah.
What the heck?
It's awesome. It's worth it. I'm telling you.
I was literally gonna ask you, what is the longest game that you've run? Because like 6 hours for me, and I was tired and falling asleep, and I'm like, I'm over this. We need to wrap. 8 hours, TJ.
Oh yeah. Oh, some people will say, anyone that knows TI, if they see it playing, they'll be like, hey, so when you guys finish this next week, let me know who wins. Like people will joke about it, rightfully so, because I've seen some really long games. And now I did one that was a 16-hour game across 2 tables, though, across 2 days, where what you see in that picture is one galaxy. We linked another galaxy to where wormholes went like to the other table. And so, and so we had 16 players.
Oh my goodness.
Awesome. It was awesome.
I might legitimately have to look for one of the. You're scaring me with 8 hours, though. Do you know what I could do in 8 hours? Sleep.
You could. Now, I'm pretty sure, like Origins, I would consider like right up there, like just kind of like in getting closer to like Gen Con, Dragon Con. If you were to back it down a little bit, like right about the 10,000, which is awesome. Yeah. You probably would see it at Origins. I'm pretty sure it would be at Origins.
Might have to go looking for that. Oh my gosh. It's a mega game in a box with a manageable number of players.
It's yeah. Now I've played games where with like 3 or 4 players, not fun. Not fun. Not doing, because like it ends up being like just I don't know, but like the political side of it is really fun. Like you're
Okay.
voting on laws and there's votes into it. It's not just straight combat. So I mean,
Yeah.
that's just my passion. Like I love
Yeah.
TI. I miss it so much.
Is this a game that exists on Tabletop Simulator at all? Have you tried to like?
Yes, in fact, I've seen it. I'm a big Steam guy, as
Yeah.
most CPU guys are, and I think it does exist, but it's really hard. I think you lose some of the immersion with it, and that's just
Always.
my opinion because I like being with people because you can gauge a guy up. You can
Yeah.
gauge a person up.
Figure out they're going to be more combative, more political. You know,
Yeah, like I can.
strategize
Yeah,
accordingly.
and then you can see how a person is at the table. You're like, okay, that guy. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Adam is letting me know that they do, in fact, have Twilight Imperium events, and it is at the free to play board game room, which means I might be spending some time in there. I'm terrified. I've never played a game for 8 hours. I'm going to go to bed tonight and I'm going to be thinking about Twilight Imperium and like, can I do 8 hours? Will I stay alive? I don't know.
Okay, so if you've ever played a game like some of these large open world games like Grand Theft Auto stuff where you get in the game, you're like, all right, I got an hour before work.
Yes.
Let me go here. I'm going to do this quest, or like Elder Scrolls, like any of the Elder Scrolls games or Final Fantasy. Like, all right, I got an hour before work. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to do this quest. I'm going to turn that in World of Warcraft, and then turn in this quest and redo my armor, and then I'm going to die. 3 hours later, you're like, what was I doing again? That is
right,
TI.
work. I was supposed to
You'll
go
be
to
like,
work.
all right, I'm going to build that space station, and that's my next goal next turn. Next turn, you're like, okay, that guy just did that. Now I have no freaking clue. I'm telling you, you'll get lost. You'll be like, has it been 6 hours? We started this game and the sun was coming up and there's no sun outside.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I am so excited. I do just want to pause really briefly to let everybody know that Tabletop Otaku is always powered by Origins Game Fair, and I do want everybody to come and join me and thousands of amazing game designers and gamers at Origins this September 30th to October 3rd in Columbus, Ohio. It'll be nice and cool that time. Genuinely, September is breezy. DJ, you're saying it's cold, but bring some sweaters, some jeans, you're good. Maybe a scarf if you get cold in the air conditioning. We have some late submissions that are still open, and we are looking for volunteers. Volunteers and game masters get some pretty fabulous perks, including free badges and event hotel stays. Some more information can be found at originsgamefair.com.
Excellent. Yeah, Origins is an awesome con. I remember I had a great time. I think that was my first exposure to Feast of Odin, which is kind of like a Viking board game. Yeah, that was my first exposure to it. Like, because I got loaned out to run Feast of Odin because the guy that was running it was he was a little dodgy on some of the rules, and I was like, oh man, yeah, I played that. So they just switched us. And but that was my force feed into that Feast of Odin. Yeah, that was pretty good. That's pretty good.
You really like the board games with all the pieces.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, it adds immersion.
Oh, I'm catching that vibe. That is wonderful. Oh my gosh, this game has won a lot of awards too. Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, Feast of Odin. It was good. It was good. I remember it was I remember like Payday. I was on a Payday 2 esports circuit, like a regional circuit on PlayStation for Payday 2. And I remember like at Origins, I was also running TI for like one of the days. And I also ran a classic dungeon crawler called Hero Quest.
Yeah.
Only that Milton Bradley, only old gamers will know that one. And I painted all the pieces. Oh man. And I remember that because I was on Payday 2, I remember I saw a guy, his cosplay was like in a Payday 2 mask in a full orange jumpsuit with a dollar bill, which is a scene from the game.
Nice.
I don't know why. I will never forget that. It was awesome.
That's, again, those are moments in cons that always stand out to me. I once saw somebody who was dressed up like Inuyasha, one of my favorite animes as a kid, and it just, the commitment, the makeup, the hair, the weird posing, I was like, you're going to remain in my brain rent-free for the rest of my life. And I still think about that person, you know? And that's what conventions do.
I have had I can actually admit that I have been to the Star Trek National Convention out at Las Vegas because I like Star Trek and Star Wars. and some of the most amazing costumes, and just amazing. Like I will never forget that. Those were once in a lifetime. That for me, that was Gen Con. So if anyone has not been to Gen Con, I would say go once. Just go once. Don't make it an annual thing. I mean, maybe if you love it, but go once to experience it. You're talking 37 food trucks lined up around 2 or 3 city blocks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is awesome. They shut down downtown.
Literally,
it
they
is
have
awesome.
to.
Gen Con is amazing.
I've only been once, and it was a wonderful, overwhelming shoulder-to-shoulder experience. I was one of those fools that was like, I'm gonna wait for the what was it, like the game room to open, or like the vendors hall to open, and there's like 1,000 of us just milling about, and like when I thought I was gonna die when the doors opened and like the crowd starts to surge, I'm like, this is it, this is how I go. It ended up being fine, but it's an experience.
I think it was what, like 250,000 plus? Like, that's a lot.
Attendance,
That's a lot of people. That's a
Yes.
lot of people. But don't get me wrong, it's a good time. I know people in the game room, especially, they would just come and bring a cooler filled with Mountain Dew and beef jerky and sit there. For like, I'm like, that guy, that's my hero. Not all heroes wear
throughout
capes.
the week. Oh, I always love the joke that come conventions, like I don't feed myself properly, I don't hydrate myself, I don't sleep properly. I'll do like oh god, I need like the appropriate term, like the shower where it's just like wash the pits, okay, we're good to go, you know. Please actually shower for your conventions though, y'all. But it's just like, you want to be out in the hall, you want to be out with your friends, and like I cannot wait for that immersive experience. I just talking about Gen Con, you're reminding me how much I love smaller cons, though. I've had the best time at the smaller cons where you take the time to connect with a certain group of people rather than, I mean, the joy of just seeing new faces every 30 seconds. Like, I played a game with you once. Hey, I've streamed with you. Oh, you're great. I've talked on you on voice chat. Lovely to see you. I'm going over there to play a game. Talk to you in 8 hours, you know?
Oh, I completely agree. Like some of the mid-tier cons, like I think like Origins Wasabi fit in there as opposed to the bigger cons. Like, you could get lost in there. It's like going to a casino. No clocks, no open windows. You lose all aspect of time, but you had a good time the entire time. I have been to a con that was like, maybe it was a small con, I think in the middle of Georgia somewhere.
Okay.
It was like a real local small town con, and like in Waycross or Statesboro. And I went, and this one was the Marvel universe was like really big around Black Panther and stuff.
Yeah, around that time.
And I went, and there was maybe 40 attendees, but people had gone there to like kind of like give like advertising for their cons coming up, like Gnome Con, Savannah Mega Comic Con. Like, those cons were there, you know, like I had a table set up. Really small convention. It was in like the I don't even know. It was like part of an elementary school or something.
Literally gonna say
it
was probably in a gymnasium, because I've been to a
was-
con in a gym before.
it was something like that. And I remember that the girl that won was like the costume from like the protectors of Black Panther, the Wakandian. And I hadn't seen the Marvel movies yet. And I was like, what is that? How did that person win? Because I wore that.
Oh my god.
And she beat me. And I was like, what? How? What is that? What is that thing? And now I see the Marvel movies all in order on Disney Plus, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. Like, she earned that one.
I mean, your outrage was valid, but also like, damn.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Now that I think about it, yeah, that was pretty cool. You got it. Yeah, you got it.
Oh my gosh. Well, as we're coming to a little bit of a close, what are the things that you are most looking forward to coming this convention season?
I am looking forward to getting back into the con room at 2 a.m, running games. We got pizza and coolers. We brought out a coffee pot, just so we're tired so we can drink coffee and keep playing games. We got to keep
Hold
going.
on. That's an option?
I'm
like,
sorry?
I could just bring my French press, my hot water thing.
People have done it. And I missed that.
Ideas.
Like, running games until like just playing a full plethora of board games, like just float between them. Like, oh, I'll play Catan. I'm gonna go over here at XCOM. Let me squeeze in a TI. Okay, there's 8 hours gone. Let me jump over to Battlestar Galactica, and just like, I'm telling you. And then additionally, a lot of the the local game stores around conventions, they tend to have really good giveaways and gift prizes and packs, and just it's awesome. I miss it. And then you're not, it's actually, cons are almost healthy kind of, because you're not eating junk food the whole day. You're just like, let me chug a bottle of water so I can keep going seeing
Let me
stuff.
get my Powerade. There we go. Got some electrolytes. Good to go for another 8 hours.
Yeah, miss it. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh my goodness. I'm really enjoying your perspective on conventions as well, because I feel like if you us as two people, we go to a convention, our experiences are incredibly different. I have never played a board game at a con. Never. I have played more tabletop games than I can count. I have played more outrageous, made up, even like, I'm not going to count card games as board games because I've played a couple of those. Like I do live shows, like things like that, but I've never touched board games. And now that this has been brought up, I'm realizing this glaring hole in my tabletop, like in my gaming experience, that just needs to be filled in. And September, that will be my time.
I'm telling you now, one thing I do remember at Origins last time I went, when Mayfield Games, Mayfair, they show up. They brought a large room carpet size Catan.
What?
And then a Star Trek Catan too. So you play it where the people are the pieces.
Oh my gosh.
And then there's another one called Suru. I think it's Suru. It's like a game where it's like Snake on the old calculator game. But anyway, it's the size of a room and the people are the pieces. And it's like full carpet size. I'm telling you, if you haven't at least played one game at a convention, at least do. Just hop into a free play game, and just so you can say like, all right, like I did that.
I will find a way to message you and let you know as well, because
I'm telling you, it's
so. I have an ask for you then. Do you get to play a lot of tabletop RPGs at conventions, like just dice and role playing?
No, I miss it. I miss it because if I'm gonna do that, I want to invest, but I can't because I want to make sure everyone else has a good time. That's where I'm at with cons now. Like, as long as other people are having a good time, then I know like that's where my good time is.
Yeah.
I miss it. If I can, I'm gonna try. If I can, I would love to run a campaign for Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle Earth.
Okay.
Like coming up at my next convention, but it's another one. If you do a full campaign, it's another like 6-8 hours, and I don't know. I can't be away for that long, so I don't know. But I'm gonna look for Dune. I know my brother Rob. He has learned how to play it at some of the local game stores, so I'm gonna ask him to come out and be like, "Hey, dude, come on, come GM, and I want to hop in on that." I'm gonna try. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, I need you need to watch a couple of like the actual play streams of Dune. Saving Throw Show and we did like a like learn to play Dune the RPG, because it uses like Modifius' system, and if you've ever played like Star Trek Adventures, anything else by them, it's the 2d20, which is incredibly satisfying to roll, just like 2 to 3 d20s. I never realized how badly I needed that.
Oh man, dice roll. Like dice is just RNG in a game. It's like this is gonna be bad. Like I can already tell. Like me, like I guarantee it. Like if anyone has ever played XCOM, you could be point blank to an enemy, 95% hit rate, miss. Like I'm standing right here. That'll be me on a D20 roll. That'll be me.
Well, you got a couple stats that will kind of bolster you along the way, but you might have just put them in the wrong place. So who knows?
Every time. I think that's how I'm experiencing, because I'm doing a playthrough right now of Wasteland 3, which is Wasteland 3 is kind of the isometric, like if you're old school, like Final Fantasy Tactics, like chess pieces move like XCOM,
like an RTS,
but it's really dark, really hilarious. But again, it's stat placement, so you're like, oh, I can't unlock this safe. Man, I wish I would have put another point in lock picking. But then I would have lost animal whispering and I wouldn't have this bear as a pet. And I'm like, wait, but if I redo my stats, but that's $3,000.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm in that same boat right now with the stat placing. Like I'm there.
Oh, that's fantastic. So I've asked you about what you are most looking forward to. Is there anything that you're not looking forward to about conventions?
Yeah, like I think you brought it up. Like I just wish I know like I'm wishing for the moon, you know, but I just wish that COVID wasn't a thing. so we wouldn't have to worry about the mask thing. I
Mm-hmm.
miss like 2018, like 2019 cons, like where
Right.
it was just that. I I'm not looking forward to it, but I know it's a thing. I know it's a thing.
I don't want to shake anybody's hand, and I'm not looking forward to the "oh, it's so nice to meet you" where they stick out their hand, and I'm just gonna be like the jerk with my arms crossed. I'm gonna be doing that all convention long, all long.
Not looking forward to it, but it's part of it. Like that's our world right now. Like
It is.
have conventions like with COVID as a thing, or don't have conventions. We're probably going to take the first one. We're probably going to
Any
take the first one.
time, and we are in a place where like again, I might be just talking up my butt, but like I do feel like things are better. People are more reasonable. Like we are moving towards a direction where things like this are going to be possible and fun. You know, I don't like, despite my own anxieties, I don't think I reflect the majority of folks when they're considering, going to conventions. I think most of the folks are like, this has been handled really well. As long as we take our own precautions, this is going to be a fabulous event.
I feel really bad for some of the big video game and just kind of come to the game industry as a whole, like things
Yeah.
like PAX East, PAX West, Seattle, Boston, and then like E3. Like those are really popular shows. They have suffered like immensely. And now they do something like with the online thing, which is like you buy a ticket and you're like online. I'm like, no, I'm not there. This is I'm not a fan of that. Like I don't I personally just don't like the digital, like I'm digitally there. No, I want to be there, man. Like I want to be there.
Yeah. A couple, like last year was 2020. Yes, it was. I know my time. I did Gen Con online, which ended up being delightful because, like, much like your feelings, I was kind of leery. I'm like, this is silly. Like, virtual conventions online, I'm not going to have fun. It ended up being a delight. It was very akin, like, I just ran a game on stream. I participated in panels on stream. Gen Con, because they had 2 stages they would rehost. And it was fun. It wasn't at all the same at all, but the community, the organizers, the people I played games with and I ran games for, they were all just wonderful. So that itself kind of rekindled a little bit of that like convention feeling, just me sitting alone in my closet, you know?
I just feel like there's no comparison,
Nah,
like to being there.
it's
Like
apples and oranges, but they're still
it's
fruit, you know?
yeah, it's yeah. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
I come at this from the angle that like I run games professionally online all the time, so like it wasn't too different. It was just a slight bit of the immersion for that feel, and I do. So Adam has let me know that so. For those who are missing the video game convention feel, Gen Con, oh god, my mouth brain, Origins Game Fair will be partnering with GDEX, so you can get access to both cons with one badge. And see, that's lovely because when Gen Con had handled it, it was you could only do online, or I mean, there was no in person, and they're going to handle it the same this way. So the fact that Origins Game Fair is giving it one badge, you get both. Thank you, thank
That's
you.
awesome. That's a
That
pretty
is
good deal.
really nice.
That's a really good deal.
It
Oh my
just like
god. Like
you want to
I don't
participate
think
more.
Origins yeah, so Origins doesn't do it like that, but I know that Gen Con does that when you go to the when you go to the convention, you not only you buy your ticket, but you
Yep.
buy your tickets for the games.
Oh,
And some
okay.
of the games that are in high demand, like those are costly. They're like, I mean, they're a lot. Like, and it's like per hour too. So like you could
I've
end up
charged
spending
people high
a
sums of money to play
good amount of
games.
money like for the games. Yeah.
Shamelessly. I think when I first ran games, I charged people like $25 to sit at a table with me. No regrets. No regrets.
Man, I was just surprised. But then when I think about it, what it costs to run a con,
Mm-hmm.
like if you, I mean, if you're nonprofit, I guess, and you break even, you put on a good con, great. But I guess you have to make some sort of profit to like put more into the con for next year,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, this stuff is expensive. And like I've had folks tell me that like when they go to conventions, that is like their vacation. You know, some folks go to Hawaii, some folks go to Maui, other folks go to conventions throughout the year. And if
Good way to
that's
look
what your
at it.
passion
Oh,
is,
that's good. Yeah,
right? Because
that's
you're going to
fun.
spend money. You are going to buy a giant life-size poster of the Green Power Ranger that is also reflective. You're going to leave with a life-size Master Sword and get stopped by the cops to not swing it around downtown. You know, you're going to spend money. Hotels, food we talked about. You'll be drinking Mountain Dew and eating French fries. That's not a cost, but like paying for games, paying for your hotel, like it adds up. But you're paying for the fun of it all. You know, you're paying for the community, for the experience, and that is absolutely worth it.
Yeah, I like because Origins is right there in Columbus, and I have family that live in Cincinnati. So I fly into Cincinnati, I see my family, then I'm, hey, you want to drive me to Columbus right quick? And they're like, yeah, just up the road, man. Cool.
Oh, that's fantastic. When I found out Origins was at Columbus, I am on the border of Detroit. I'm over here in Windsor, Ontario. So it's just like, it's like an hour drive. It is so hecking close. And the fact that I've lived this long and not gone to Origins Game Fair is a travesty. So I'm
Oh yeah, you
incredibly excited for this
definitely.
year.
I guess you are close.
I mean, I'm so close. And it's wild because I'm in a different country, but it's just like, yeah, I'll be there in an hour. See you soon.
Man, you're up in Toronto?
I'm south of Toronto. I'm in Windsor. So we're like the butthole of Ontario.
Sure, everyone in Toronto would agree with you. It's like, yeah, we're the butthole.
There's nothing here. You know, the appeal of my own city is that we're right across the river from Detroit. So like when the borders open, I spend all my time over there because it's wonderful. Just come on, borders. I need you to open up.
I think I remember I had a gaming friend actually that I went up to Canada to see, and I was like, wait, you have currency called loonies and toonies? Yes! Are you serious? This is a thing? And she was like, yeah, what are you saying? And I'm like, oh my God, this would never pass in our country.
Our Monopoly money, or money is Monopoly money. It's colored and it smells like maple syrup. And I am not lying.
So and you guys have this weird thing. Like, you gotta buy this box that sits in your car to scan you onto the. I mean, hey,
Yep.
It's different. It's different. It was a culture thing for me, and I was like, this is crazy. Wow.
We are very, very akin, and somehow still a little different. But with that being said, TJ, FalenRomeo, FalenRomeo. That's your gamer tag.
Yep. So FalenRomeo. You'll find it on across Facebook, Twitch, the Wasabi Anime channel. I stream virtual reality check on Friday nights. Most of the time. Sometimes I got, life happens, but Friday nights on the Wasabi Anime channel. And then I also stream for the GGN, which is the Grunts Gaming Network, which is part of the WTF Nation, which is like the Army's online social media presence. So I stream for them as well.
Fabulous. Awesome. And if folks wanted to find you to follow like your Twitter, they would just look up FalenRomeo with one L. Yep,
FalenRomeo with one L. Yeah, you could find it. There's FalenRomeo Gaming on Facebook, and then you could find it through the Wasabi Anime channel. Or if you were just to do a social media search on Twitch or anything for GGN, anything like that, you would find it as well. I'm hoping soon I can get a Wikipedia page so I can be like, yeah, that's cool.
That's cool. When you know you've made it. That is wiki. Like, I have like a fandom wiki, and it's cool, but I want a legit wiki page. So if you're watching,
you want a wiki?
Please make me a wiki page.
Oh my God, I want a wiki.
It's the goal.
Oh man.
It is.
Oh man.
You're immortalized in history. Like, Wikipedia is going to outlive all of us. When our world is on fire, those servers will still be running, and they will have all the information of the world, and our names will be in there, TJ. That's what
I need to make one and be like, hey, someone made one about me, guys. Look at that.
Yeah, you got to do it under like a false name, like Romeo Standing. And they'll never know. It'll be a secret.
Awesome.
All right. Well, I've been your host, B Zelda. You can follow me on Twitter as @B_Zelda. I am a podcaster, member of the Broadswords, host of Anime Attaché, player and Power Play RPG. I am a prolific streamer. You can catch me just about anywhere. You'll have to follow my Twitter for my schedule. And I am the community manager for Adventures League. If you had some fun with us tonight, just a little bit, why not have even more fun at Origins Game Fair this September 30th to October October 3rd. Sign up to volunteer or submit your own events to earn some marvelous perks, including free badges and hotel stays. Having a place to sleep is honestly, it's one of my favorites. So if you want to come to this convention, I will bring you maple syrup. You know, anybody shows up, I've been thinking about just buying like small little things of like OG Canadian maple syrup. So like if somebody shows up and they're like, "Hey, I watched you on this stream," I will give you some maple syrup. Incentives, swag.
Awesome.
All right, TJ, let's wave goodbye. Thank you everybody for watching.
All right, bye.